Hey everyone, welcome back to Clubhouse Movies Podcast. I'm your host, Marc Rubalcaba, joined once again by Mr. Abel Pineda. And you know what day it is today?
It is Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th. And as per annual, or semi-biannual, I don't know, however often Friday the 13th
However many times this happens, we do it.
Yeah, we cover an entire franchise. And since Friday the 13th actually pops on the October this year, which is super double
fantastic,
spooky. We're gonna go over the Halloween franchise, and so far we've done maybe Friday the 13th and Evil Dead. Now the problem with
Halloween franchise
is that it's actually kind of the timelines are actually jacked up, right? And I mean
it's all over the place.
Timelines. And the way I've kind of separated them here is they've kind of rebooted every decade. And the thing about rebooting the Halloween franchise, it actually doesn't always do a complete reboot. It actually omits different stories sometimes.
Yeah. I think it omits, and this is me watching the first one for the first time.
Yeah.
It omits, but it also brings back.
Yes, it does. And I've watched, in preparation for this, I've watched the first one, and then I've watched the latest, I'm going to call them trilogy of movies, and then I actually went back and kind of watched some of the retro ones just to kind of see what's going on. But just to start off, Halloween is a horror movie franchise about a psychopathic killer named Michael Myers, who wears either blue or dark gray coveralls and a white William Shatner mask, and kills babysitters or whoever gets in his way. So he's a lot more like Jaws. He's more like a shark. He has like zero emotion, and I think that's the
and just as strong.
Yeah, just as strong. But unlike Jason, Jason is supernatural. Michael Myers just seems really lucky. Michael Myers is like an action star, where Arnold Schwarzenegger gets shot a bunch of times and he's okay and can still do things. That's the way I kind of think about Michael
Myers. Fall out of a window.
Yeah. He just does a bunch of stunts. But like I said, there's a bunch of timelines. So we're going to start with the most recent timeline first, which I'm going to call the Halloween Kills and Ends timeline, also known as the Blumhouse trilogy. And I call it trilogy because, to me, Halloween Kills and Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills should be considered all one movie. But they all start with the 1978 Halloween, in which Michael Myers is a little boy and he kills his sister, right? Mm-hmm. And then Michael Myers kills his sister. Then he's in the mental institution until he turns 18, right? Where his psychiatrist wants to keep him there forevermore, right? But he ends up escaping, returning to Haddonfield, and killing a bunch of babysitters, including Laurie Strode. And then eventually his psychiatrist, Sam Loomis, catches up to him, shoots him 6 times, and then he disappears into the night, right? After killing a bunch of babysitters, a bunch of hippies or whatever, right? Now, this is where the timeline deviates. In Halloween Kills, we learn that the police were actually chasing him, right?
Yeah.
And then they capture him. So in this timeline, Michael Myers is captured in 1978, right? And he is in the mental institution all the way up until 2018. So this is the 40-year timeline, right? So they all they change every decade. So he's been quiet for 40 years. In this time,
so then we have the Halloween that is the 2018 film is the direct sequel.
Yeah. So I'm going to say Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills are all one movie because they actually happen on one night, right? So Laurie Strode is a trauma survivor. She has a daughter and a granddaughter. And Michael Myers escapes from the mental institution again, comes for them. But somehow Michael Myers, under the care of his new psychiatrist, ends up back at Laurie Strode's house, which she has turned into a trap house and burns it down with Michael Myers in it, right? And I kind of like this.
Not a trap house as in drugs.
Oh, yeah. It's a trap house, meaning
a booby-trapped house.
Kill house. Like the whole thing burns up. But
there you go.
But what Laurie Strode didn't anticipate was at some point the fire department would come and try to save whoever is inside the house. And they actually save Michael Myers. Unbeknownst to them, he pretty much murders them and turns them all into pizza.
Saved is a very loose term.
Yeah, he kills all the poor firemen.
He uses them as human ladder.
Yeah, but he might have not survived otherwise. But anyway, he comes and he returns home, kills everyone in their wake. And Laurie Strode was injured in this fight, so she's actually in the hospital. So there's a large tradition of Laurie Strode spending long periods of time in the hospital. And other things that happen is there's this dude who also escaped from the mental institution, and then a bunch of vigilantes.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this guy.
The vigilantes kill him. There's also a long tradition of vigilantes killing the wrong person in Halloween movies too. I mean, they think it's him, but it's not.
It's like a nod to the other movies.
Yeah. And Michael Myers goes home, kills everyone who lives at his old house. And then the townspeople actually finally catch up to Michael Myers and jack him up, right? They jack him up real good.
Yeah, like slash him up a few times, beat him up with a bat, and then he gets just
Then he hulks
strong.
Up. Right? He hulks up and kills all of them. And then he goes back to his house and kills Laurie Strode's daughter. Right?
Right in the window, right in the same place where he killed his sister.
Yeah, with some psycho going on there. And then Laurie Strode.
Even the flashes of light and everything were they were like nods to the original 1978.
Yeah, and it was really good actually. And I liked the way Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills complement each other, right? And then I think the next one, Halloween Ends, was actually really good. And in a way, a lot of people didn't like it because it kind of tells a story from a different perspective of two star-crossed lovers, being Corey and Allison, Laurie Strode's daughter, where it actually provides an homage to other trilogies as well. And another one was, I think, Stephen King's Christine, where a guy was going crazy because he liked his car so much and his car was evil. So now this guy, like a normal guy, who accidentally kills a boy at the very beginning of the movie, right? Is Corey. He accidentally kills a kid with a Wilhelm scream when he falls down the banister. And he's been deemed a pariah because of this. And since Allison is a survivor of Michael Myers and Corey is they've both become pariahs, and they end up becoming lovers because they are both trauma survivors. And I forgot to mention also in Halloween Kills, there were also homages to Lord of the Rings. Remember there was a scene where Michael Myers was standing over a girl trying to get away, like the ring wraiths, like the...
Oh, over Frodo.
Yeah, over Frodo. And I think I could some Star Wars things. And for whatever reason, in this movie, I did see homages to the Dark Knight trilogy, where Allison? I didn't tell you the thing. But Laurie Strode's daughter was Catwoman, and the costume of Corey in this one was the Scarecrow, and he wanted to watch the world burn. He kept on saying he wanted to watch the world burn. And then when Michael Myers comes back, because remember he got jacked up in the last movie, he was like hulking up, right? Like when he was coming back, whenever he'd kill, he'd like hulk up.
He's going to his bat cave to just hulk up.
Yeah, and there was like a bat cave and everything, and for some reason I kept on catching Dark Knight parallels in that.
They gotta be nuts.
I think in my review I had to stop the tape. But Corey's inspired by Michael Myers. He wears the mask and all that stuff. And just a lot of good kills in that movie. And it ends with them all going back to Laurie Strode's house. And Laurie Strode kills Corey. And then Michael Myers comes to once again finally put a bullet in that. And then since he's all jacked up, they're able to actually have a fight. And then she messes him up real good. She slashes his wrists, slashes him in the neck. And then the entire townspeople take the carcass of Michael Myers to the junkyard and throw his body into an industrial wood chipper. So they actually destroy him once and for all by doing the thing that everyone says you got to do with a boogeyman is double, triple tap him and then throw him into a wood chipper. So in this timeline, Michael Myers is dead, having been thrown into a wood chipper. He
is in bits and pieces.
Bits and pieces all over the world. Okay, so that's the H40 timeline, Halloween 40 years timeline. So here is the Halloween H2O timeline, which is the next most.
This one I am not fully aware of, so I'm keen to hear this.
Yeah, this is the H2O timeline. The H2O timeline does include the first Halloween movie, right? But it also includes the
As it
second
should.
Halloween movie. So after, in 1978, when Michael Myers died and got away, Laurie Strode went to the hospital, right? And then Michael Myers is still on the run, and he finds out that Laurie Strode is still alive because he hears it on the radio, and she was taken to Haddonfield Memorial Hospital. But also we learned a key fact that was not included in the H40 timeline. Laurie Strode is Michael Myers' sister.
Yes.
So it turns out that Michael Myers is determined to kill Laurie Strode, his long-lost sister. So in this timeline, Samuel Loomis is still alive at this point, and he is still on the prowl after Michael Myers. Michael Myers corners Laurie Strode at the hospital, which has been abandoned and deserted for some reason, and they end up in a operating room. Samuel Loomis.
I remember this.
Samuel Loomis is able to turn all the ether things on. Laurie Strode escapes, and Samuel Loomis lights a fire, and the whole building explodes. And what's his name? Michael Myers comes out like the Terminator on fire and then collapses, and that's how Halloween 2 ends. So Halloween H2O picks up 20 years later from the first movie, as you may or may not know. Laurie Strode is now in hiding somewhere in California in the middle of nowhere as a teacher of a boarding school, and introducing Josh Hartnett as her son, right? This is his first movie. But anyway, they're in a boarding school, and guess what time of year it is? Halloween. And Michael Myers has finally figured out where she lives by raiding Samuel Loomis's house. So they had like a prologue where he raids the house and finds all the information. And she has changed her name to Tate, and she is a teacher. And Michael Myers pretty much, I think what happened was they were going on a Yosemite trip on Halloween. So the place is mostly deserted except for Laurie Strode, her boyfriend at the time, and her son, and a bunch of young kids. Michael Myers kills most of the young kids. Her son is able to drive off and escape. Her boyfriend died. A couple other people died, leaving Laurie Strode and Michael Myers to have one last fight. They get into a big fight, and Michael Myers just gets like knocked out, or like he gets beat up real bad, and that's when the police come, right? So the police actually come and stop them from killing each other, right? And Michael Myers was knocked out, and they put him on a gurney. They put him in an ambulance. Laurie Strode steals, and played by Jamie Lee Curtis, by the way, again, she comes back, steals the ambulance with him in it, Michael Myers in it.
Dude, I'm like remembering this. I
drives off,
so
and
crazy.
Then as it's happening, Michael Myers is waking up, and then like he like does a bunch of things and escapes, escapes, and then she hits she swerves the car, and he flies out, and then the car like somehow like flies in front of him, and he gets pinned between the tree and the car, so he's stuck, right? And Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode, she comes out with an axe, right? And then you see Michael Myers like this, and he's not talking, right? He's Michael Myers, and he's like that. And then Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode comes up to him and he swipes his head off. Like his head like flies. You see the mask. And then it ends with ends with the song, right? And it was like, and then that's how it ends. Like Michael Myers has been beheaded. But now, Halloween Resurrection, which is the next movie in this H2O timeline, we find out that Michael Myers was able to switch bodies with a paramedic, and he crushed the paramedic's larynx, so he couldn't talk. So she cut off the wrong person's head. And Michael Myers comes after her in like a mental institution because of what happened. She was so depressed by killing the wrong person. He kills her. He kills Laurie Strode in this timeline. He pushes over the cliff, right? Or not over a cliff, but over the roof, right? So she dies in the first like 10 minutes of the movie. Then Michael Myers goes back home, and Busta Rhymes is doing a live stream.
I was going to say, Busta Rhymes was in this?
Yeah. In Halloween Resurrection, Busta Rhymes does a webcam, who can survive the night in the Michael Myers house. Meanwhile, Michael Myers shows up and actually kills everybody. Right?
Crazy.
Yeah, and then a lot of people don't like this one. They say it's the worst, but it's not the worst. But anyway, he kills everyone. Busta Rhymes actually does some kung fu stuff where he's wah, and does some Bruce Lee kicks and kicks him into a bunch of electrical stuff. He gets electrocuted and then caught on fire, exploded, blows up. And there's only Busta Rhymes, and then the other girls survive. And then they take Michael Myers to the morgue, and they have a close-up of him in his mask. a close up on his eye, and guess what happens?
It moves.
His eye opens. That's the end of the H2O timeline. Now we're gonna go to the Halloween 10 years timeline. You ready?
Man.
Here's the Halloween 10. Okay. So
I'm trying, man.
Halloween 1 happened, right? Okay, Samuel Loomis, all that stuff, and then he escapes. Then Halloween 2 happened. So Jamie Lee Curtis is still the sister of Michael Myers, right?
Yeah, 2009.
Yeah, 2000. What? No. This is Halloween 2, 1992 or something. No.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a bunch of movies called Halloween. There's a bunch of movies called Halloween
Holy
and a
cow,
bunch of movies called Halloween 2. This is Halloween 2 in 1990 or no, 1980.
1995?
No, 1980.
Okay.
But anyway, this is when Sam Loomis blew up Michael Myers in the ether room. Remember we talked about that? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so this takes place 10 years later in 1988. Jamie Lee Curtis's Laurie Strode has died in between movies, but had a daughter, right, named Jamie Lloyd, who is now the heir to the family, right? So Michael Myers has been in a coma for the last 10 years. So they're transporting him again, and he escapes another prison transport. Don't transport Michael Myers on Halloween. It's a bad idea.
It's like, stop it already.
Yeah. And he escapes and finds out that he has a niece that he starts going after. And we're also going to call this the Thorn Trilogy because they actually do kind of try to explain why Michael Myers is. But anyway, he goes after his niece, and a bunch of vigilantes actually kill the wrong person here too. They actually did that in Halloween 2, where a bunch of vigilantes killed the wrong person. It's just vigilantes and idiots kill the wrong people all the time.
Totally random. I'm looking through IMDb. Every time they refer to him, they call him the Shape.
Yeah, that actually has written. And if you see the end of Halloween in the credits, is credited as the Shape. But anyway, because he's no longer human, right? He's just a shape of a human.
Yeah, it's true.
But anyway, they finally managed to catch Michael Myers after killing everybody. And this is the Halloween 4, the return of Michael Myers I'm talking about, by the way. The police are able to shoot him down and then shoot him down a quarry and then even throw a stick of dynamite at him, right? But like I said, he has a niece, and him and his niece have a telepathic connection, right? Where she wants to kind of be with him towards at the end. But they shoot him down a quarry, he explodes, and all appears well until the daughter Jamie stabs her caregiver or her what do you call it, step parent or whatever, adopted parent, in the shoulder, and is dressed up like Michael Myers. And Samuel Loomis was like, no, it's happening again, and that's how that's how Return of Michael Myers ends, right? Then the Revenge of Michael Myers sees Michael Myers having survived being shot up. You see him, go down the river playing the Halloween theme, and a pirate actually catches him. And the pirate actually nurses him back to health, and it turns out he's got like a thorn tattoo on his arm now, which we never saw before, but apparently was supposed to be always there.
What?
Yeah, and his niece has gone mute, but she still has somehow is telepathically communicating with Michael Myers. And also there's a mysterious man in black who's always seen walking through the city. We don't know what he's up to yet. But we find out at the very end. Okay, so Michael Myers comes back to town, kills everybody, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
His niece survives, but in this movie they catch him. They catch Michael Myers at the very end and throw him in jail. And he's actually handcuffed and everything, and he's just sitting there looking bored. It's actually a really weird thing. And then that man in black that I mentioned a minute ago shows up and kills all the police and blows up and kidnaps Michael Myers and his niece, and that's how the Revenge of Michael Myers ends. Then we go to Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers.
God.
Introducing, by the way,
thing is, I'm looking at the release years. Dude, all these movies are releasing within a few months of each other.
Yeah, right. They just shot him out. But Halloween 6 introduces Paul Rudd as Tommy Doyle, who is the the kid that he was babysitting in the first movie. Anyway. In this movie, we learned that there is a cult, the cult of Thorn, which actually possessed Michael Myers many, many years ago.
What?
Yeah, right. Yeah. And they somehow impregnated Michael Myers' niece with his seed. They don't explain how. Maybe rape, I don't know.
Yeah.
But now there's a baby involved, and then Jamie Lloyd escapes. Michael Myers kills her, and then Paul Rudd finds the baby, and I don't know, just a bunch of shenanigans ensues. When Michael Myers first escaped in the first movie, not Dr. Loomis, but the guy was like, oh, where would he go? He doesn't learn how to drive. As it turns out, they taught him how to drive. Yeah. They've been teaching him the thing from the very beginning, and that was the Man in Black. Because remember, he was always how he was able to drive.
Yeah.
They were behind it in the very beginning. All along, since the thing, and it's all part of a
What?
Yeah. And then I guess Paul Rudd just kind of beats Michael Myers to death at the end of this movie. And they all run out, and we presume Samuel Loomis dies also, because this movie kind of ends abruptly.
Yeah.
Because the actor who played Sam Loomis dies kind of in between movies here. So they didn't really have it to be continued. So that's actually the end of the Thorn trilogy.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of craziness. Okay.
That was a lot.
And now we're going to go to the H30, which I'm going to call the Zombieverse. They gave...
What is happening right now?
They gave Rob Zombie the rights to Halloween, and he made 2 Halloween movies. So the thing about Halloween 1 that he made in 2008 or 2008 or 2007 is that you remember House of a Thousand Corpses? Remember the language and the vulgarity? He introduced that to Halloween. Yeah. So the one thing that I liked about Halloween was it almost seems like Michael Myers just snapped one day and killed his sister. And his parents seemed like well to do. They were just in suits and ties, and they're dressed nice.
Yeah. Like they just come from a little shindig.
In this movie, his parents are hillbillies, or at least his mom is a super hillbilly. She's a stripper, right? And then her boyfriend is a complete scumbag. Her sister's the scumbag. They're all scumbags, but Michael Myers is a little kid. So this movie starts off with him as a little kid killing cats, killing animals, and just a sociopath. And he kills his his bully, right? And then then Michael Myers kills his sister's boyfriend, and his boyfriend, and his mom's boyfriend. So he kills 4 people when he's a kid in like one day, right? And then that's like the first 20 minutes of the movie. Then Michael Myers escapes from the mental institution, but now he's played by Tyler Mane, who played Sabretooth in the original X-Men movies. Yeah. He escapes in a very dramatic way. And then pretty much the entire plot of the first Halloween movie unfolds. 45 minutes into this movie, which includes a prequel. But I did like some of the things, because Tyler Mane was a really tall, really crazy look Michael, and he had the aged mask. In this one, usually he doesn't have the aged mask concept didn't kick in yet. We also see Ken Foree, who played in some of the zombie like original horror movies. Another tall like guy had a pretty good performance in this one. And in this Halloween movie, we also learned that Laurie Strode is in fact Michael Myers' sister. So that one we learned in this one early on.
Crazy.
And what happens? A lot happens.
So much, man.
Sam Loomis chases him, and then they fall off the banister of the house, and pretty much the same ending of Halloween 1 happens, right?
Yeah.
And then Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, they end up at the hospital again. Michael Myers is killing everyone in the hospital. He goes after Laurie Strode. He almost kills her too. It turns out it was all a dream. So Halloween 2 continues off, but this time Michael Myers did escape after Halloween 1. And now he's like super hillbillied out. His like mask is like half gone. You see like a beard sticking out, and he's dressed like a hobo, wearing like hobo clothes. But he goes around.
Yeah.
He goes around killing people again. Halloween comes up, and it's 2 years later. He kills everyone. But at the very end of this movie, it actually ends up with them in a shack. And by the way, in this movie, the sheriff is played by Brad Dourif, also known as the voice of Chucky. So he's in this also. And if you remember, the daughter of the sheriff was killed in the first one. So the same thing happened kind of here, where the daughter of the sheriff is killed in this Halloween too. So the sheriff is out for revenge too. So by the end of this movie, Michael Myers is having visions from his mom telling people to kill people, much like Jason, right? That's all happening in his head. Laurie Strode is also having visions, kind of similar visions of his mom telling them to kill people, right? Samuel Loomis is still chasing them, played by Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah.
And they're all in the shack in the middle of nowhere, where they're all kind of like all at gunpoint Mexican standoff with Michael Myers, and she doesn't want him to die. He doesn't want him to die, and he's about to kill Laurie Strode. And by the way, on the outside are all the police and SWAT team ready to kill everybody. And I get this ending confused with the director's cut ending. They're variations, so I don't really know exactly which is which, but I'm going to tell you the best I can. But they all get into a big fight. He's about to kill Michael Myers, about to kill Laurie Strode, and then Sam Loomis says, "It's all my fault. Blame me." And then he captures Sam Loomis, and then he says the only words Michael Myers says here, the only words he's ever said in the entire franchise. And guess what word it was? Just guess. You might guess it.
No idea.
Die! So the only thing that Michael Myers ever said in the entire franchise is die, in which he kills Samuel Loomis. And then the police gun Michael Myers down. Laurie Strode in this timeline takes Michael Myers' mask and walks around with it, and then pulls out a knife on the cops, and the cops shoot her dead. So she dies also. What? All three of the main characters from Halloween die at the end of Rob Zombie's Halloween movie. And that's Rob Zombie's Halloween movie.
That's a lot. That's a lot to take in,
And then
man.
there's one more thing I need to bring up, because you can't have a Halloween recap without talking about Halloween 3, The Season of the Witch, which does not include Michael Myers whatsoever in this Halloween storyline. Yeah. It involves a toy maker who creates a pumpkin witch and skeleton mask that kills kids. Like it uses magic to kill kids. Now, the pumpkin witch and skeleton masks were actually repurposed in Halloween Kills, where there are a bunch of corny trick-or-treaters who are wearing the exact same shamrock masks in that. And I believe that movie actually ended on a bad note, where the toy makers were actually able to get the pumpkin witch and skeleton masks out into the public, and then apparently any kid who bought them succumbs to their evil.
That is crazy.
So yeah, maybe I'll put up a timeline there. But like I said, every decade there appears to be some form of reboot or requel of the Halloween franchise, in which Michael Myers somehow escapes from prison. Laurie Strode may or may not be his sister.
This is crazy to me.
And
this is amazing.
I think what they should do is actually leave the franchise dormant until 2028, when there will be another decade, when they can find out that Michael Myers really didn't die one more time, or he escapes from prison
50.
one more time. But anyway, that has been our hot take for Friday the 13th Halloween special.
Nice.
Halloween series special. Stay tuned till next Friday the 13th special, where I think we'll pick up another Halloween or another spooky franchise and recap that one as well. Remember to like, share, subscribe, check us out on Twitter, Facebook, wherever we are. We are here, we are there, we are everywhere. I'm your host, Marc Rubalcaba. Join once again, Mr. Abel Pineda. We'll catch you later on the Clubhouse Movies Podcast. Woo!
Whoa! God, that was a lot of show.
Good show.
All right.